Sussex smashed their biggest score of this season's Friends Life T20 against high-flying rivals Essex, and that was enough to see them beat the Eagles by 19 runs in a hugely entertaining game at the PROBIZ County Ground. Michael Yardy won the toss and decided to bat first, and he would have been thrilled with the start given by openers Chris Nash and Luke Wright. It was an electrifying beginning, with boundaries from the pair coming thick and fast. They did have to wait until the end of the third over for the first of the 8 sixes of the innings, Wright smashing David Masters over the ropes at backward point. It then started to rain maximums. Graham Napier's second over, the 5th of the innings, went for 21 runs. Nash struck the first ball of the over into the crowd, before Wright followed suit in an over which also included a couple of fours. Incredibly, by the end of the 6 overs of power play, this pair had raced the score along to 74 without loss. And the ability to drop the field back for Essex still made little difference. Another 11 runs came off the 7th over as the Sharks made batting look rather easy. So there was real disappointment for the crowd when Wright fell to the second ball of the 8th over, finding Tim Phillips at long off a slower ball from Ryan Tedescarter, which went a bit awry. Wright departed for an exceptional 40, made off just 21 deliveries. He and Nash had put on 86 in a thrilling half an hour of cricket, but then things did slow down a little before Murray Goodwin was caught behind brilliantly off Reece Topley for 11 at 108 for 2 at the halfway stage of the innings. It was an ideal position to be in, and ideal for a player of the experience of Scott Styris, who was able to come out and immediately express himself. He was there as Nash recorded his fantastic 50 off his 38th ball, an innings containing 2 fours and an equal amount of sixes. He put on a rapid 32 runs in 20 deliveries with Styris, who now joined in the 6-hitting fun by striking Tedescarter into the crowd. Alas, Nash was out 2 balls later, superbly stumped by James Foster off a leg side wide from the Dutch international. Nash went for 52 at 140 for 3, with 6.5 overs still remaining. From such a position, the new batsmen could arrive at the crease and play their shots from the off, something Joe Gatting did. This maximum off Phillips came off only the 4th ball he'd faced. Gatting was soon really enjoying himself and giving the spectators plenty to cheer about. 3 more fours came in the 16th over as Masters went for another 15 runs. And 30 more were smashed off the 17th, with Styris clearing the ropes once more off Topley, who did exact his revenge at the end of the over as the hard-hitting Kiwi searched out Tedescarter in the deep to go for a 20-ball 28. It was pretty much hit or get out now. Matt Machin was the next to go as Tedescarter took another catch, this time off Napier, to leave the Sharks on 194 for 5 with 10 balls left. Ben Brown was out the moment the 200 was reached, Topley proving expensive but also putting 3 numbers into the wickets column. But Gatting took Sussex to 209 for 6 with his second 6 as he smashed his way to a brilliant 45 not out from 22 balls. It left Essex with a run rate of 10.5 per over to win this important contest. Naturally then, they needed a rapid start, and that was left to James Franklin, who began the boundary count in the first over. But he was out in the 4th, mistiming a pull off Chris Liddle to Machin at deep mid-wicket, with a total on 22. The big-hitting Napier was brought up to number 3 to try to make the most of the fielding restrictions, but he reckoned without Amjad Khan, who sensationally ran the danger man out before he could get going. Mark Patini may have felt bad about that, but he soon put it to the back of his mind by thumping 2 sixes, the first off Will Beer and the second off Styris as he moved to 44 and took the total to 74 for 2 at the halfway stage. That still left the Eagles needing 136 off the last 10, and that was well beyond them when more fantastic fielding from Styris ran out Patini with a perfect throw from square leg. Tedescarter, another of the Eagles' danger men, was then out in the next over, clipping Styris to Gatting on 2. So with 8 overs remaining, Essex required 123 with just 6 wickets in hand. Greg Smith then had to go for it. He pulled a Beer long hop for 6. Then he hit the next ball for 4 and the 3rd of the over for another maximum. But to the 4th he was out as Beer dragged one back to have Smith stumped for a 26-ball 39. Styris then took a fine low catch off his own bowling to remove Adam Wheater, and the game looked over, although Styris had to leave the field immediately. Some explosive batting followed. Nash's only ball to finish off Styris' over was struck over the ropes. And Foster led from the front with some extraordinary stroke play. He went after his opposite number Yardy, winning the battle by hitting the ball over the ropes 3 times in 3 balls, as over number 15 went for 20 runs. Yardy is normally such a difficult bowler to hit, but Foster was having few problems. So now 66 were wanted off the last 28 balls when Phillips was held at fine leg off right. But Foster was still there, and he struck the next ball for his 4th maximum, thrashing the ball over the covers. Tom Wesley kept the thrilled crowd interested with the 19th 6 of this wonderful game to take the target down to 34 off the last 2 overs. To the first ball of the penultimate over, he was LBW to Khan, who showed just how crucial that wicket was. But Foster was still there and gave his side the slimmest of hopes by clubbing the last ball of Khan's over for 4 to leave 25 needed off the final over. Only 3 runs came off the first 2 deliveries, and then Liddle had Foster held just about by Machin. His 47 had come off only 20 balls with 3 4s and 4 6s. Liddle then finished off the match by calmly taking a return catch offer by Masters, as Essex were all out for 190 off the last ball. It was a superb match and another wonderful advert for the short game. Sussex remain unbeaten in all one-day games this summer and look good for a last 8 place in the T20. They now head to Chelmsford for another match against Essex on Thursday.